Hi everybody, and welcome back to Thone's Nibbles number 64. This one on Luke chapter 20. And associated name is A Tribute to Caesar. And this comes from Luke chapter 20, verses 20 through 26. So they watched him and sent spies who pretended to be righteous, that they might seize on his words in order to deliver him to the power and the authority of the governor. Then they asked him, saying, Teacher, we know that you say and teach rightly, and you do not show personal favoritism, but teach the way of God in truth. Is it lawful for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But he perceived their craftiness and said to them, Why do you test me? Show me a denarius. Whose image and inscription does it have? And they answered and said, Caesar's. And he said to them, Render therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. But they could not catch him in his words in the presence of the people, and they marveled at his answer and kept silence. This, I sort of headed this loyalty to civil government and to God. Why is this in the Bible? To teach the separation of church and state. I mean, that's certainly an easy answer, and there's probably plenty of other answers that are good too. Written to the people in the temple, most likely the Jewish men in the men's court. Communication teaches to obey authority in secular matters. Application to my life. I will carefully and cheerfully obey any moral law from our leaders. Notice carefully and cheerfully. I know a lot of people who obey with a great deal of complaint. We should, for those things which are moral and are coming from the leaders, which are, after all, approved of God, we must be both careful in our obedience, but also cheerful in our obedience, because it's the right thing to do. God to me. Obey God's law always. Obey man's law unless it conflicts. So that's a real simple thing. If God says it, you do it. If man says it and God doesn't say that you can't do it, do it. And it's a simple way to live. My personal response: Lord, give me good discernment between moral and immoral secular laws, and the wisdom to be most effective in avoiding the evil ones. And I just want to add a little bit of a footnote to my title, Loyalty to Civil Government and to God. There are lots of people in the Christian community who are definitely always loyal to God, but not always loyal to the civil government. And this, is a natural emotional reaction to disagreement with what they said, but it isn't what the Scripture says. We are to obey the civil government unless what they are proposing that you do is against what God has told you to do, or it's something that God has told you not to do. So that's kind of thing. I mean, there's people the other way too. There are people who are exceedingly loyal to the civil government, and want to increase its power and so on. But they really don't care much about what God said. And one such thing is the abortion issue, which now is, fortunately or unfortunately, you choose, probably agreed with by more people than it is disagreed with. And so therefore, this is one of the cases where the fact that the civil government says you can do it does not authenticate your right to do it, because God says don't do it. So it swings both ways. But the point is that we need to be, when we can be, loyal to the civil government and always loyal to God. And that would solve so many of the divisive issues of the time if we could look at it from that perspective. So that's the end of today's, and thank you, and we'll see you next time.